Hello and welcome to Bored Stupid. My name's Wayne.
And I'm Matt.
And if you were here for our last episode, we are doing a complete journey of the history of the winners of the Spiel
Through
Des Jahres.
time and space.
Through time and space, visiting all of the winners of the Spiel Des Jahres and seeing how gaming has changed all the way from 1979 to today.
Yeah, so on the first episode, we cover what Spiel Des Jahres is, how it's getting worded. And so if you want to find more information about that, go and check the link. That's going to be in one of the corners. So if you got more like the details on the technicalities out these awards, then let's say it again, it's the Nobel Prize for board games.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely. It's a big deal. Big deal in
and then we covered from 1979 to 1989.
We absolutely did.
On this episode instead, we're going in through the 90s.
Going into the 90s, which for me and Matt was a formative period of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's when we actually were proper kids
growing up,
started playing our first games, and and I still have a few of those. So,
I bet you do. And the 90s are going to be very interesting, and there's going to be some games that I think you'll be familiar with.
But before we start with 1989 and onwards, you need to hit the subscribe button so you can check when we send you out all the new videos. So if you want to follow this series,
hit the button.
That is what you need to do. And anyway, you can check out all the other content that we got. We're trying to push as much content as we can on this amazing board game world.
Absolutely. And if that's not quite enough for you and you fancy a bit of shopping, you should check out Into the AM.
Yes.
We have a great partnership with them, and you can find a special link in the description or use the code BOREDSTUPID to get 10% off of any of your orders. And Matt, it's extra special. And why?
Oh, why? Because it's extra on top of any other discount that you can find already on the Into the AM website.
Even better.
So you can multiply the discounts with the Bored Stupid code. And they do a lot of like very nice geeky t-shirts.
Great casual wear.
Yeah, and what I want to say is quality-wise, they are amazing.
Very good.
We washed it and washed it and washed it, these t-shirts, and the graphics still say perfectly there. The colors are still vibrant and everything. So absolutely, it's a 10 out of 10 for me on the Into the AM. So go check the link and do some shopping. Treat yourself.
You ready to go back in time into the 90s?
Let's go back in time.
Let's go. So if you didn't see the first episode, I will give Matt a description of the game.
Yeah.
And then we'll take a look at it and he'll give an impression if he's not heard of it before.
Yeah.
But there'll be a point where he'll have heard of some of these. So we won't bother with that. So we'll do what we can.
Yeah, and we'll check if the games are still in print or not, if there are new versions. So it's going to be very conversational and very like a live reaction to what we got. So let's start.
Let's start with 1990s winner, which was Hoity Toity.
What?
That's a good name, right? By a designer called Klaus Teuber. And you should watch out for him because his name will pop up a bit later.
Okay.
He did, I don't know if you remember from the last episode, Barbarossa, the one that was really weird.
Okay.
With the clay
Play-Doh. That
was
was very weird.
Very weird.
Game with clay and like Play-Doh or something like that, yeah?
Bit funky.
So I'm expecting a lot from this.
We'll see.
Let's have a look.
Tell
me what the game
about
is.
it.
Yeah.
So players will buy or steal various pieces of junk in the form of cards, trying to form the largest and oldest collection. Built on a rock, paper, scissors mechanism, this game gives all players a couple of choices each turn. The trick is in guessing what your opponents are likely to do and then planning your choice accordingly. Only after everyone's decision is revealed do you know for certain whether you made the right choice.
Fair enough, okay.
So, a card-based game. Should we take a look at it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is Hoity Toity.
Hoity Toity.
Hoity Toity. Look at that cover.
Oh, wow. This screams 90s everywhere, yeah?
I think we're barely out of the 80s at this point.
But you need that cartoon style. Oh, okay. Not for me, but maybe yes. Look at that. Yeah, that's it's very interesting. Some interesting artworks, I would say.
When we say the production has improved, It's certainly in print.
Yeah, think about that. That this was probably being this an award winner. It means that the quality must have been good as well for that time.
Absolutely, yeah. Would you want to play that if you saw
it? If someone proposed to me like, yeah, do you want to play this game? I would say yes. Otherwise, I would not be attracted by something like this. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you think it's still in print?
No.
No, you're correct. It is not in print. There are some used ones available though.
Okay.
And the current score is 6.5 on Board Game Geek.
That still holds well. 6.5 is still, for a game 1990s. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Let's do 1991.
1991. Klaus Teuber repeated his trick.
Okay.
He won again.
Wow. So this is the third?
See, this is his third win.
Yeah.
His third win of the Spiel Des Jahres.
So win 2 in a row in the 80s.
So he won one in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which was with Barbarossa.
Okay, yeah.
Then he won 2 in a row now.
2 in a row now.
The guy in the 80s was Wolfgang Kramer.
Oh,
he won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And he might be coming up later too.
Okay.
But with Klaus came back with Wacky Wacky West, where in Wacky Wacky West, you and your fellow townsfolk place track tiles, street tiles, and river tiles, hoping to destroy your rivals' buildings.
Okay.
Every time someone tries to build over a precious outhouse, the town votes. You try to enlist your supporters, which are cards, to vote with you to stop or encourage the play of certain tiles, perhaps saving some of your buildings or taking out those of your opponents.
Okay, sounds kind of interesting.
Sounds pretty cool, right?
Yeah, let's have a look what it
take a
looks
look at
like.
It? Absolutely. So let's take a see. Again, 90s and 80s board game artwork.
Yeah, this is a wacky artwork.
It's not the best. I mean, no shade on those artists.
No.
But it's just so much
I think the market was completely different. I think it was still more for like kids and families. So it always need to appeal more to the kids, because I guess the kids will ask, "Oh, Daddy, let's buy that."
Yeah, the context is important at the time, right? So there it is.
Okay, it's kind of like it's got an interesting
quite brown.
Yeah, it's brown. It's brown. I will not go for it.
You wouldn't go for it?
No.
Fair enough. Do you think it's still in print?
No, definitely not.
Let's find out.
I don't think it is.
Correct. It is not in print.
It's it looks dated and probably not easy to refresh.
Maybe not easy to refresh. Again, some used ones are available that I found, but not currently in print.
I mean, they might value quite a bit of money if you got it in your...
You've got it in the attic,
the attic or your garage or something like that. So maybe have a look.
Classic Spiel Des Jahres winners, mate.
Yeah.
Current rating 6.3.
Still holds.
Holds okay. Yeah, absolutely. Moving on. In 1992, we have the most German-sounding name so far.
Ooh, yes.
With, here we go, Reifenbreite.
Reifenbreite.
Not quite, Reifenbreite.
No.
With Decide You Did Try by Rob Bontenbal. This is translated as By the Width of a Tire. So as you might imagine, it is a bike racing game based on the Tour de France.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
That's like a Tour de France type bicycle race. Each player takes control of a 4-member racing team, and the goal is to score as many points as possible for the whole team. Movement is mostly handled by dice. However, there is a limited card set which can replace some of the dice results. Once you add unique rules which can allow riders to draft past one each other and multiple kinds of road surfaces, this game apparently has much to offer for race fans.
So does it sound very much like that of Flame Rouge?
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like Flame Rouge's granddad.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, should we take a look at it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, look at that
artwork. The artwork, okay. This was an artwork that I remember like in the 90s. No, not this particular, but this style of like a cartoon.
Oh, like from comics.
Yeah,
like the Dandy and the Bingo.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. It has that kind of look.
And to be honest, I will be interested in this, yes.
It looks pretty cool, right?
It looks pretty cool.
You got some standees.
Yeah.
You have the track that you're going to be racing around, which is pretty cool. Look at that picture for the night.
Yes.
Amazing. And Matt will be flashing up some images, I'm sure. Oh, look at that. I think it looks pretty cool. I think I'd also be interested.
I will be very interested. I don't think this is in print anymore.
Should we find out?
And did it ever existed an English version of this?
I am not sure.
It looks very German. All the picture looks like it got German text.
German language, maybe.
Maybe might not.
It is not in print.
It's not. Yeah.
And I couldn't find a single copy of this. So
Fair
maybe you
enough.
might be luckier than me, but if you have a copy of this one might be worth some money. 6.8 on BGG at the moment, so not too bad.
6.8. We're getting toward like a solid, good game.
We really are.
Yeah.
If we call 7 like that's a good game,
okay.
then we're getting really close. Let's move on to 93. In 1993, the winner for me was not really controversial, but there's a question mark around it.
Okay.
Because the winner was a game called Perudo.
Okay.
Now, Perudo, you might know at home, folks, as Liar's Dice, Matt. Do you know Liar's Dice?
No, never.
It is a famous old game from South America where you shake dice in a cup, everyone does, slams it on the table.
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah. And then the results depend on...
And then you're like, I think there's 3 sixes. Someone has to increase the bid each time.
I do know it, yes.
Often known as like the pirate game from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Yeah, something like that. Possibly, yeah. So very famous, been around for many years. So Perudo was the winner of the Spiel des Jahres here because it was packaged in such a way. The designer is credited as Richard Borg. Liar's Dice, also known as Bluff or Perudo or Dudo, is a South American dice game in which each player is given 5 dice and a cup to roll and hide them. Exactly. Players then make successively higher declarations regarding the results of all the dice remaining. Like, there are 10 sixes on the table. However, someone can always contest the bid by saying, you're a liar. And then when that happens, you reveal all the dice and either the bidder loses or the caller loses, depending on who is correct. And the last player with their dice is the winner. This is a tremendously eternal game.
Yeah, I find it like, is this being created that year? So it didn't exist before? It sounds like a game that's always been around. No?
Right, it's a historical
It's like talking
game.
about like, I don't know, dice or something.
Go or something like that.
Okay.
Or Othello or something like that. It's a 6.9 on BGG because it is a classic game. This was the published version, and this version you can still actually find. It is colourful, it is bright. I think it was just packaged very well.
Yeah.
And that's...
But I don't see this being created, so why did he win?
I don't know. And I think if you know, I'd like to know if you could put a comment below, because this is an interesting one for me. Like, why did Perudo win, which I don't think was really a game created in 19...
it's like saying like, oh, I'm gonna package
chess,
whatever, rock paper scissors, and like, it's not really a game that you can. I don't know. Anyway, it won. So controversial.
In 1994, the game that won was a game called Manhattan by Andreas Seyfarth, and you'll see Andreas's name a little bit later on as well. This game is familiar to me for a couple of reasons.
Go on.
But it's not the same game. And I'm going to describe it for you, and you're going to tell me what it sounds like.
Yeah.
In Manhattan, players construct a skyline of skyscrapers over several districts or city blocks of Manhattan Island. Ultimately, each player seeks to have built the tallest buildings in the most city blocks of the island. Each turn, players will play a card that illustrates which part of the city block they may place a floor of the building. The placement card is unique for each player in that the section that they place is relative to their seat at the table. The player who has placed the most top floors controls the building, and each round scores are tallied based on control of each of the neighborhoods. So, it sounds similar to, but not quite the same as...
Big Boss. It's like, clearly, if it's not Big Boss, it's not a re-implementation, is something
quite similar.
As
far as I understand it, this is a different game to Big Boss.
Okay.
But Matt, let's take a look at the artwork.
Go on. Okay.
And then let's take a look at the game. Looks kinda...
Or
you can see how its Big Boss may have been inspired by.
Inspired by it is it's I will not say inspired, but yeah, fair enough. With the colourful, the acrylic cubes, I see a few differences, but it is very much
and you can tell
it's very similar to Big Boss. I will say that it's not Big Boss,
but it's similar
by something similar,
at least in some ways.
It's got probably the verticality that it means more than in Big Boss.
Yeah.
In Big Boss, it is counting as like which one is the bigger corporation
For money. Yes, different approach to
but
it.
the fact that you got a card that is where you can play a certain your building. That
has some similar mechanisms,
yeah,
I think,
okay.
but in a different way.
Okay.
Do you think this is in print?
Probably yes. I would say I'll probably Big Boss killed it, so probably no.
It is reprinted in a new edition.
Okay.
By Foxmind Games, but that is now quite hard to find.
Okay.
So that reprint, I don't know how long ago it was, but I don't know if we'll see another one. That may well be the last one.
Okay.
So, 6.7 on BGG. Solid.
I will play it.
Nice.
Just to see the difference between
Big Boss.
Yeah, I will definitely play it.
In 1995, the board game industry changed forever.
Yeah.
Because Klaus Teuber came back for his third crack at the 90s.
Third rings. You got
the
rings.
Third crack at the 90s, right? I think he had one in 1990, then he repeated the trick in 1991, and then in 1995 he had his biggest hit yet, and one of the biggest hits of all time in Settlers of Catan.
Yeah, one of the biggest hit in the board gaming industry of the last of forever.
30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
Right? So in the last 30 years or so.
Okay.
So with Settlers of Catan, and I'll give you the quick and dirty lowdown as per my notes here, you're essentially trying to be the dominant force on the island of Catan by building settlements, cities and roads, and on each turn you roll dice to determine what resources the island produces. Players then build by spending resources, which are the cards essentially, and you can trade as well with your partners. And the turn consists of playing a development card, rolling the dice, collecting your resources, unless you get a 7, and then the robber comes and takes your stuff. So classical stuff. The Catan is a very famous game.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm not even going to show you the game. You're quite familiar with Catan.
It is. We'll put a couple of pictures.
It's absolutely in print in every flavour you can imagine.
You can get it in Catan in space,
Catan in the past, in the future.
Catan Family. They did
Catan
some
Family,
like family
Kids Catan,
versions, yeah,
all sorts.
It became probably with Ticket to Ride one of the
biggest games of all time
in the industry. Yeah,
this was
a modern classic.
It is a modern classic, and it kick-started, I think, modern board gaming as we know it.
Yes,
humongous game, and that's Catan. In 1996, Wolfgang Kramer came back because he had a bit of success winning 2 Spiel des Jahres in a row in 1980s.
Yeah.
So he thought, you know what, I'm going to have another crack in the 90s. Yeah. And boy, did he.
Well, I'll let you say which game is, but this is one of our favorite games.
1996 is El Grande. Now, El Grande, I'm not even going to go to the notes. No, it is one of the finest area majority games ever made.
And
full stop. And it's still that.
Today is probably one of the best area majority game
you can still buy.
They can still buy. They just released a new version last year. We played
the other night.
We're trying to play it every time we can.
Yeah.
And I'm undefeated.
Yeah.
But no, it's absolutely perfect area control game.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect. There's not a spare bit of fat on that game. It is so good. Of course, it is in print. The new version by Hans Im Gluck, I would recommend. The artwork is very
amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is not a bit of plastic in there. Very classical game design. Excellent game. 7.8
and
on
deserves 7.8. Yeah, they probably deserve a little bit more.
I would also probably say as well. Yeah. So that's 1996's El Grande. In 1997, the winner was Mississippi Queen. And it's quite interesting this year because you've gone from Catan and El Grande, which are more like bigger games, like gamer games. That's what I consider gamer games.
Yeah.
And we've gone from there to a switch to a family lighter game with Mississippi Queen, designed by Werner Hurdle. In this light, fun family game, players race their paddle boats down the Mississippi, picking up passengers along the way. But on board, coal supplies are limited, so each ship's acceleration and maneuvers must be carefully planned. Perhaps most interestingly, The twists and turns of the river are unknown at the start of the game and are only revealed as ships progress downstream. How's that sound?
All right. It sounds like a racing game at the end, kind of.
Yeah, I think so.
But
it's a race down the Mississippi.
yeah.
Should we take a look?
Let's have a look what it looks like.
All right. So we've got the Spiel Des Jahres winner from, again, that classical 90s artwork there.
Yeah.
And we've got...
Okay, it's got some production that is actually interesting for being like mid-90s, hexagonal maps.
And
okay.
Some little plastic boats there as well.
Boats and the passenger.
Some
Okay.
passengers.
You know what it reminds me a little bit?
Is it?
You know what it reminds me a little bit?
What's that?
El Dorado. Yeah.
That's exactly. I knew what you were
Dorado.
thinking. That's exactly
The
what it
map
reminds me
looks like El Dorado. It's to be honest, I will give it a go. Yes,
Good.
I will play it.
I think I would play it as well. Actually, that sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think it's in print?
Probably yes.
Let's find out.
Or in some sort of form. Yeah, in some
Yes,
form also,
in
yeah.
a new edition.
Okay.
Copies are available, and used copies are pretty easy to get. I don't know how long the
know
current
what?
print will last, but
Yeah.
it is available.
You know what? Yes, I will definitely give it a go.
Very good. On BGG, it's currently rated at
6.7, yeah.
6.7.
It sounds like a very
I'll tell a light.
easy
Wrong one.
light game.
Sorry,
yeah.
6.3.
6.3,
Wrong
right.
one, but still,
But still, it looks like a
nice light game.
yeah.
Racing game.
So, not bad.
Not bad. 1998's winner was Elfenland by Alan R. Moon. Alan R. Moon's name will come up a little bit later in our next list.
In the noughties.
In the early noughties, because he did something real big.
Okay, well, we'll see.
He did something real big. However, this is the first year that I've got the recommended list. So the recommended games that didn't win. And here's where we see this name for the first time.
Okay.
Mr. Rainer Knizia.
Okay,
And
it's getting there with one
He had
of his...
two games recommended on the
Wow.
shortlist.
Wow.
Which were the very famous Tigris and Euphrates and Through the Desert.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is a year where the Spiel des Jahres may have got it wrong, because Tigris and Euphrates is commonly known as one of the greatest area games ever made.
Yeah.
And Through the Desert is also known as a very solid Rainer
Yeah,
Knizia
exactly.
design. And Elfenland,
I never heard of it.
there we go. So, the game is set in a mythical world of elves. A group of elves, the players, are charged with visiting as many of the 20 elfin cities as they can over the course of 4 rounds. You have 2 stages. The first part consists of drawing tiles that show the different types of transportation
Okay.
from a combination of face-up and face-down tiles. So you're drawing tiles. These transport tiles need to match the transport cards in your hand in order to use them effectively. After each player has 4 tiles, they take turns placing them on different roads. Only 1 transport tile can be placed on each road, so players may use other players' tiles to travel if they have the matching card in their hand. So if you place a tile over on my road, I can use my card to then travel on that.
Okay.
Or I can place a tile on yours, which will screw you up because you might not have that card, for example. How's that sound? Confusing, probably.
Yeah.
Not clear from the description,
I
but
don't know.
it's essentially a race to visit
Okay.
20 cities.
Okay.
That's it. Let's take a look at it. Look at this.
Another very 90s artwork, yeah. Unicorns and dragons, yeah, go on.
Okay, let's take a look at the game.
Okay.
It's got that kind of Carcassonne-esque
Yeah, it
vibe
does, yeah.
right, on the map.
Maybe not for me.
Maybe not for you.
Yeah, I would say it's not for me, but if it won, it must have a reason.
It must have
right?
done something, but it also won over Tigris and Euphrates. Which
Yeah, that is when we're gonna start seeing like, where are these games now?
Do you think Elfenland is in print?
I will be surprised if it is.
It is.
Ah.
And you can find new copies by Amigo Games.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
it is still selling in some form or other.
Yeah.
Whether or not it will be printed again, I don't know.
Okay.
But as of now, there are new
There is
copies
a new
available.
version. Okay.
And it is a 6.7 on BGG. And I know it's not the be-all and end-all, but for comparison,
Yeah.
Tigris and Euphrates is 7.7, and Through the Desert as a 7.1.
So it's yeah. Oh.
Should we go to the last year?
Yeah, let's do it.
99. In 1999, we have another famous game. We have the very first game, I suppose, in an informal member of the Mask trilogy, or the Mask series of games, which was Tikal. Have you heard of Tikal, Matt?
Yes, I did heard of Tikal.
Tikal is designed by Wolfgang Kramer. He's back again. This man is a beast, an absolute machine. And in this year, he teamed up for the first time, at least for this particular winner, with Michael Kiesling. Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer will come back again later on, about 10 to 15 years later, with a big hit, and you'll find out what that is. So, Tikal is a game of exploration within the Central American jungles in search of lost temples and the treasures within. Players send their team of explorers into the jungle, exposing more and more terrain, and along the way, you find temples that require further uncovering and treasures. Players attempt to score points for occupying temples and holding on to treasure. Okay, how's that sound, Matt?
Sounds like interesting. Yeah.
Now, I haven't played Tikal, but I know of Tikal.
Okay, yeah, I do know about the game, but never played.
Excellent.
So, but it sounds very much a game that I would love to
familiar
play.
artwork as well. So, let's take a look at it. And I think artwork-wise and production, that holds up pretty well.
I will play this, yeah, absolutely. I will check, yeah, it looks really nice. It looks like...
lots of green, that looks pretty cool.
I will love it, yes. I will, yeah, if we can get a hands on a copy of this, we'll definitely get it. Because it's...
add it to our Spiel Des Jahres winning collection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. Is it in print?
Yes.
It is.
Cool.
Stocks are a bit limited, but it is available new still. So you can still find
the original print.
The new, no, the
the
reprint since.
There's been, but still in the same format as the original.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, it may have been changed slightly over the years, but you can find new copies.
Why not? I will definitely get a copy of this.
And a 7.3.
Solid.
That's more than solid. That's a good game. That's a good
stuff.
Game. We got to the end of the 90s, Matt.
Yeah,
how was that exploration?
Journey. Amazing. We started seeing a big point where
95,
everything changes in 1995 with Catan coming out, and then we start seeing more games, modern games, modern stuff that still at today as either heavily influenced the new production or are still considered like the big games. So
absolutely,
if you think that El Grande still holds up, absolutely been one of the best game ever made
of all time.
Manhattan being kind of like a Big Boss
Here's
brother
Here's the thing. Let me just go back to the list here, just for the outro, because I think it is quite interesting. Let me go back down to Manhattan in 1994.
Because I remember that is from 1995.
Big Boss was 94.
Okay, so
they came out at the same year.
Okay.
And Big Boss is one of my favourite games.
But one in the US.
One set in the US.
And one in Germany. Because I think Big Boss was not released outside of Germany.
No, it wasn't. And it was Wolfgang Kramer.
So
it was one that he didn't win. I think maybe the Spiel Des Jahres judges were sick of him winning. So
they gave it to the one
they gave it to Andreas Seifert, who copied his game. Who copied who? I think Big Boss may have been first. But that's the only one missing for me because I absolutely love that game. And I'm surprised it wasn't a winner. It may have been in the recommended list, but I couldn't find the recommends for that particular year. So if they want to follow our journey as we go into the 2000s, Matt, what do they need to do?
Well, hit the subscribe button now, so you don't need to travel in time, and you can actually see all of our content. You go check out the first episode of this series where we cover the 80s, and just stay tuned for the next one. We're gonna explore the noughties, and we get into the more like modern gaming.
Yeah, much more modern gaming stuff you'll be familiar with as well. Please do check out the rest of our content, as Matt says, like this video, and we'll catch you again real soon.
Ciao.